Hello everyone, today I'm doing a deck profile on my Prism Dragons deck. With the new set Blazing Overclash, Prism Dragons have received a lot of support, which makes them incredibly powerful and one of the top decks in the Buddyfight meta. Without further ado, let's get this started. So for the Buddy, we run Heavenly Crystal Dragon Aldo Autora. The core cost is to pay 2 gauge. Sorry, let me just focus the damn camera. Pay 2 gauge, put the top card of the deck into this card store, and pay 3 gauge. This card on the field cannot be destroyed, and you cannot be dealt damage by card effects. It has overturn, pay 1 gauge, and discard a card from your hand when your opponent's card will attack. For this turn, this card cannot be destroyed. All cards on your opponent's field must keep attacking alone if able to. And when they do, change the target of the attack to this card and deal 1 damage to your opponent. So what this does is, when they attack, you can activate its overturn, and they'll be forced to attack continuously until they cannot. So let's say they can attack 3 times, they'll be forced to attack this 3 times, and they'll take 3 damage. And if they choose to link attack, activating the overturn will make it into separate attacks, so you don't have to worry about it. So yeah, incredibly strong card. Next up, moving on to the deck itself, we run 3 copies of this new Autora. Thunder Heavenly Crystal Dragon Aldo Autora. Core cost is pay 3 gauge and put the top 2 card of the deck into this card soul. This card on the field cannot be destroyed and you cannot take damage by card effects. It has Overthrow, so you can also use your Overturn. During your bonus turn, pay 2 life. Call up to 1 Prism Dragon monster with Autora and its card name from your hand or drop zone on top of this card without paying its core cost. Then, during this fight, damage dealt to your opponent by your card effects cannot be reduced. So what this does is, once you overthrow, you can just call, for example, this one, or another Autora that I have in this deck. And then for the whole game, the damage cannot reduce. So it works quite well with this one, because it gives them lesser option to defend themselves. So yeah, 3 copies. Next up, of course, we just do 3 copies of the Buddy, Heavenly Crystal Dragon Aldo Autora. Next up, we run our alternative Autora, alternative overturn one, which is Heavenly Crystal Dragon of Sunlight Aldo Autora. So core cost is pay 3 gauge, put the top 2 cards of the deck into the card soul. This card on the field cannot be destroyed, and you cannot take damage by card effects. It also has overturn. During your opponent's turn, drop a hand card. For this turn, all Prism Dragon on your field cannot be destroyed or leave the field by your opponent's card effect. And this card gets plus 10, and all Prism Dragons get defense plus 1 million. So this is quite good as well. That's cause this works against some deck, let's say decks that have auto win conditions. Normally they can choose not to attack you, which makes you unable to activate Aldo Autora's overturn. So let's say you just want to use the overturn to go into something like Tanzanite here, you can just do that. And unlike Aldo Autora, this card prevents your whole field from being destroyed. So yes, you can also stop effects. And it also gives your every Prism Dragon 1 million defense. So it makes them impenetrable. So unless they are something along the lines of Dragot, they cannot really hit anything. So yeah, this card is very powerful. It's a good alternative if you feel that your opponent will just avoid attacking you. So yeah, 2 copies. You can choose to play either one. Next up, 1 copy of Mouth Heavenly Crystal Dragon Autora Tanzanite. This card's core cost is reduced by 4 gauge if you have used Overturn during this fight. Core cost, put this card on top of a side 3 Prism Dragon and pay 4 gauge. This card on the field cannot be destroyed and you cannot take damage by card effects. During your bonus turn, when you cast a spell, deal 1 damage to your opponent. It has Penetrate, Triple Attack, Counter Attack, and Soul Guard. So this is what you go into if you wish to end your opponent quickly. So let's say you do Overturn, you just go into this and you can finish your opponent off. You can bump this up to 2 copies if you want. I just choose to play 1. Next up, that's all for size 3, so moving on to size 0s. 4 copies of Calvados SD. This is a new little size 0 double from the new set. If you will call a Prism Dragon from your hand, the gauge cost written in its core cost is reduced by 2. So this is good in cause all your Prism Dragons cost at least 3 gauge. So this can really help you save the gauge cost. And when this card enters the field, you may discard a hand card. If you do, put up to 1 Prism Dragon with Autora and its card name, or up to 1 defense item from the deck into your hand and shuffle your deck. So not only do we have Gemologists, we also have this card to help us search out our Prism Dragons easier. So yeah, this card is amazing. Must play for. Next up, we have 3 copies of White Crystal Dragon Call Me. I don't know how to pronounce. It's a promo from it's a box topper promo from the new set. All Prism Dragon monsters on your field cannot be put to other areas by bonus card effect. And when this hand card is dropped, if a Prism Dragon is on your field, you gain 1 life and draw a card. So basically it acts as discard fodder, since quite a number of cards in this deck make you discard, such as Calvados and your Overturn Autoras, as well as one other card in this deck. So yeah, this is pretty good. Next up, 3 copies of Flying Crystal Dragon Shelter. When this card enters the field, you may discard a hand card. If you do, put up to 1 defense from your deck into your hand and shuffle your deck. So you can just discard this and drop the effect. Also, this lets you search out any defense card, which not only includes the item, but it also includes your spells, since quite a number of the useful spells in this deck are defense cards. So this is incredibly useful. Yeah, that's all for the monsters. So I'll be moving on to the spells. First, we have 4 copies of Gemologist. You may cast this card if you have 6 life or more. Put the top card of the deck to your gauge and search up to 1 size 3 Prism Dragon from your deck and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. So this lets you search out your Autors. Yeah, pretty standard. Next up, we have 4 copies of Eternity Ring. Put this card into the soul of a Prism Dragon monster on your field. If you do, put the top card of your deck to your gauge and draw a card. When the Prism Dragon with this card in its soul attacks, destroy a card on your opponent's field and deal 1 damage to your opponent. This card is what allows Prism Dragon to become an offensive deck. It quite allows them to quickly deal damage, and since if you use the overthrow effect, the damage cannot be reduced. So yes, and if you put more than 1, it's stacked. So let's say you have 2 in the soul, you deal 2 damage and destroy 2 cards on your opponent's field, which is quite good. Next up, 4 copies of the new shield, Meteorite Shine. You may cast this card during an attack on your opponent's turn, and you have a Prism Dragon on your field. Counter nullify the attack, then you may put this card into the soul of a Prism Dragon on your field. If you do, you gain 1 life and draw a card on your size 3 Prism Dragon specifically. And souls in the Prism Dragon with this card in its soul cannot be dropped by your opponent's card effect. So you can nullify, gain 1 life, draw a card, and then you can immediately put it into the soul, which is pretty good. So you can also search it out by Sheldry. Also, Eternity Ring can be searched out by Sheldry, just to tell you. That's all. Next up, 3 copies of Valiant Sea Fire. You only cast this if there's a Prism Dragon on your field. Put the top card of your deck into your gauge and draw a card. And put this card into the soul of a Prism Dragon on your field. You only cast this once per turn. If this card is in the soul of a Prism Dragon, all monsters on each player's field cannot be returned to hand. So this helps deal with Ator's problem of possibly getting returned. And it also stops opponent decks such as Conan or any deck that like to return monsters to their own hand, such as the Gabriel deck, the Angel Dragons. So yeah, this is pretty useful. Next up, we have 2 copies of Jewel Light Kickoff. You only cast this card if you have used Overturn this fight. Cast cost, drop a soul from a monster with a Tora and its card name on your field and drop a hand card. Counter, for this turn, all Prism Dragon on your field cannot be destroyed or leave the field due to your opponent's card effects. Then return all cards from your drop zone to deck and shuffle it. You only cast this once per fight. So you use this, you can reshuffle your whole deck, and basically acts like a 1 turn save. So yeah, it's pretty useful. This is just in case you are about to deck up. Next up, we have 2 copies of Asterism Effect. You only cast this card if you have a Prism Dragon on the field. Cast cost, discard 2 cards from your hand. Choose and use one of the following 2. For this turn, all monsters on your field cannot be destroyed, until the beginning of your opponent's next turn, you cannot lose the game. So yeah, this is pretty solid. Just in case you are going to lose your Prism Dragon, or if you think you will die. So yeah, 2 copies. Next up, 2 copies of Mirror Valley. Set is a set spell. All Prism Dragon monsters on your field cannot be destroyed, return to hand, or put to other areas by your opponent's card effect. When your opponent's card attacks, change the target of the attacks to a Prism Dragon on your center. So this is to keep them away from your size 0s. You can take this out since now we have prevent returning and the size 0 to prevent putting to other areas. But I choose to play this because you can always replace with some other cards if you like. Next up, 2 copies of Hispanic Bliss. You only cast this card during your opponent's turn. Counter, look at cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of times your opponent's card attacks during this turn, and put a card from among them into your gauge. Put up to 2 to your hand, and put the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order, and you gain 1 life. You only cast this once per turn. It acts like a Buttsex Link, so you can just cast this. Depending on how many times they attack, you look at the top. So let's say they attack, look at 3 times. You can add 2 to hand, put 1 to gauge, and the rest to the bottom of the deck. So yeah, it's pretty good. Next up, 2 copies of Iris Lilac. You only cast this card during your turn. Cast call, drop a soul from a card on your field. Counter, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Put 1 from among them to your hand and put the rest to your gauge. You only cast this once per turn. So yeah, it's just to give you extra event search engine. So also helps you increase your gauge if you wish. Next up, 2 copies of Enhancement. Put the top card of your deck to your gauge, and if there's a size 3 Prism Dragon monster on your center, draw a card. So just a filter engine to charge and draw. Next up, Starjack Boost, 2 copies. You only card this if you have 7 life or more. Put the top card of that into your gauge and draw a card. So just a charge and draw. 1 copy of Heavenly Crystal Awakening. You may only card this if you use Overturn this game. Counter put the top 3 cards of your deck into your gauge and draw 3 cards. You only card this once per turn, once per game. So basically, you overturn, you can cast this, charge 3, draw 3. You can bump this up to 2 if you want. I just feel 1 is okay. Finally, we have 3 copies of Tourmaline Greaves, the new Prism Dragon item. Equip costs. Put up to the total of 2 Prism Dragon or defense from your drop zone into its soul and pay 1 gauge. Abilities of all Prism Dragon on your field cannot be nullified. And counteract, during your attack phase, choose a monster with a Tora and its card name on your field, and you may rest this card. If you do, stand the chosen card and deal 1 damage to your opponent. So this allows you to be more offensive. And since you stand your Prism Dragon, if you have Eternity Ring in the soul, you can deal even more damage. So yeah, solid item. Now that's about it for the Tora deck. Also, just suggestion for 2 cards you could play for sideboard is Colloid Armor. Cost pay 1 gauge. For this turn, a Prism Dragon monster on your field can attack your opponent even if there's a monster on their center. So basically, let's say you have to fight another deck that has tanky center. You can just use this to bypass. It's quite useful if you feel like it. That's all I did for my Prism Dragon deck. Hope you enjoyed it. And I guess I'll see you all next time. Bye.